Can all hear me. I am here with the one and only Ryan Gocool, who is our special guest today on our masterclass. We're going to do Live with the Leaders masterclass podcast style. We're in our studio that we don't get to use that often. Actually, you've been down here a couple times,
Right.
if anything, out of our agents. But before we do that, I just wanted to make a couple announcements, go through, if I could pull it up here. Let's see on our screen here. You can kind of see where we've been going along on our syllabus here year to date. We've covered areas, and we're going to touch on some of these in our conversation today with marketing, advertising, building on your investment portfolio. It's a topic that I know you're still very versed on. Technology and tools. There's been a lot going on with AI lately that we had touched on. Seller prospecting we covered. And we're just wrapping up the module for buyer prospecting and how to really connect with those buyers. Our next class, we're going to be going into really nurturing those clients and how do you get those clients for life and talking about your client relationship management. So hopefully you guys have been following along. We encourage you to follow along as well. For those that are local to the Capital District, I want to make sure that you guys have registered. If you go to our Ultimate Real Estate Success Blueprint page, which is separate from the classroom page where we do these calls, this is for the Ultimate Real Estate Success Blueprint. If you go to that page, join it, you will see an announcement for a safety event that we're going to be hosting next Tuesday at the Duo of the Dunes on Washington Ave in Albany, New York. I'm going to have a good friend of mine, the Chief of Police of the City of Schenectady. I'm also going to have a state trooper there and a couple other law enforcement individuals that are going to go through some stuff that a lot of people don't talk about, believe it or not, until there's a problem. So we're hoping to avoid that by having an event like this that's open to all realtors and just to create an awareness. We're also going to have a couple other agents that had some scenarios. Ryan, you and I could probably touch on some of these too, because I know I got some stories and you might have some stories in our conversation here as we go along. But I'd love to see a lot of you guys that are here locally. I say locally because I know some of you on this call that can't make it. You're out of the area. But if you're local, you should really register for this event. Just click on the link. We're going to be advertising it on this page, on our blueprint page, and you're going to be seeing it on social media, on our, all over the place. So that's it. I wanted to make that announcement. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for a minute. But today is Live with the Leaders. We wanted just to bring in Mr. Ryan Gocool, who is an agent here at Miranda Real Estate Group. And the reason why we chose Ryan is a lot of these principles that he's picked up. He's only been in the business a short period of time, and I'm going to let him share that information. But he's been in the business for a short period of time, and he's found ways around obstacles that a lot of new agents stumble into. I know I did a podcast with Trish, and it's on our blueprint page. You can go back and watch it, where I talk about reasons why a lot of agents fail. I don't know if you saw that, but some of the things that you have been able to overcome are things I discuss on that podcast, right? So I know we have a list of questions here. I guess I'll just work off the list of questions and see where it takes us in the conversation, Ryan. But tell us a little bit about yourself, your background. Like what I always say this when I interview agents for real in the real world is why real estate? What got you into real estate?
Right.
Kind of what were you doing before real estate, and what are your goals?
Gotcha. Well, real estate for me has been my whole life.
Yeah.
So growing up, my parents, my mother and father were always in real estate. I never knew them to have any other job other than to be investors in real estate, to do flips, to do rentals, things of that nature. So for me, I decided to take the jump and get licensed as just a way to be another arm in the family business. But when I got into it, and you start helping people, you start getting into those multiple offers, you start winning multiple offers. It's an addicting feeling. It's
like down a different path.
Yeah. Right? And it took me straight down a different path. So so that's how I got into being more of an agent for that. And it's great helping people. It's a very rewarding position to be in.
Awesome. Now you've been in the business just over a year, and you've already closed 4.1 million to date, which is pretty respectable for a seasoned agent, let alone a newer agent. You got over 1 million pending out there. That's incredible, right? So let's talk about what do you think so far in a short period of time? I know you have the family connection. That kind of was the entry into it, but what are some daily practices or routines that you've done that you can tell and tie back success to?
Right. No, I think number one is I'm somebody, I can't work from home.
Yeah.
I have to be in office.
That's funny. I wrote that down here on my notes for you. It's at office.
I,
So we cover that. Yep. Go ahead.
so it doesn't matter if it's an email or a phone call, I have to do it at the office. If I'm at home or if I'm at my home office, it's like I can't focus. You're in a different world.
Yeah.
So for me, being in office, it locks you in. It takes you away from.
You're there to work.
Yeah, it
right?
takes you away
puts
from the
in
rest of the
work
world.
mode. Yeah.
That's the only reason you're there.
Yeah.
And from there, it makes it so much easier to make your calls, to schedule your appointments, to do the cold calling, which is a rough thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how Chris Maley does it, but
Yeah.
man, people will call you all,
Oh,
all sorts of words.
That's
But,
a pillar,
yeah,
but you're
yeah,
right. You
yeah.
can't have the fear of a call reluctance. That's what we call it. I've seen some agents, especially newer agents, will have that call reluctance. But you got to be resilient, to your point, and you got to be able to take the good with the bad, right? And just keep calling. It's a numbers game. But maybe let's talk about that topic for a second. When you're on calls and you're calling or prospecting, I like to call it, and you come across someone that is not so friendly or happy to hear from you, what's your take on that? How do you handle those, and how do you move forward?
Well, number one, I find when folks are a little bit reluctant, when a little bit angry, I find a lot of times being the complete opposite of the energy that they're giving off,
Sure.
and throwing the information, like the useful information, missing out all the fluff, like, oh, in the market 20 years ago, we did this and we're going to go. Just getting away from the fluff and just getting down to the numbers and getting down to, hey, down the street, we got X, Y, Z. That's how I've been able to overcome that. Yeah.
Right. So again, just a little bit, elaborate a little bit. Like, what daily or weekly habits do you have that you think have had the biggest impact? I know one thing I can give you kudos for is that I always talk about engagement being important. And you mentioned coming to the office, that puts you kind of in work mode, and it kind of throws you in there with your peers, and you automatically are getting engaged by that. But you also attend most of the training, if not all the training. I see at a lot of different trainings. But what other weekly or daily habits are like, I got to do this daily in order to be successful?
Well,
that you would recommend to a newer person?
The first and foremost is, in my opinion,
keep looking at me. Like, we gotta look at these guys.
In my opinion, I think it's the calls. It's not the text. And I know a lot of people do like the emails, the daily emails, the weekly emails. But for me, it's the calls. It gets you directly in front of the folks. So that's my number one, is making that the priority. Now I'm starting to get into a little bit of the mailing and things of that nature, but the calls have been the.
So making sure you make sense. How many, just on, offhand, you think is a good number for you to hit? You felt like you accomplished something. How many dials do you think you make a day?
So right now I have to hit 50 calls a day. That's kind of the list I set for myself. It has to be at least 50 calls a day. Anything else than that, just a bonus. It gives me the weekends off. If I make 100 calls today, all right, I'll take some off a Saturday.
When you say weekends off, meaning you're not calling on the weekends.
I'm not calling weekends. I'm working the weekends, but I'm not calling the weekends. But 50 calls a day, and you'll be surprised. A lot of times, maybe they're not ready to sell right now. Maybe they're ready to buy it right now. But it's that that first step into the door. And you start building a relationship from there.
Well, that kind of leads into this next question here, right? Is many new agents struggle with consistency. So like, in order to have that motivation and be disciplined, how do you stay consistent to do those calls, those 50 a day, and not feel like you're, skipping or being inconsistent?
Well, for me, I know in real estate, we kind of, when it starts, you always hear, oh, you make your own schedule. Oh, you're your own boss.
Right.
I think of it just as like, listen, you don't make these calls, there's no money coming in. You don't eat. So they become your non-negotiables. If you're not making new leads or new connections, you don't have a business. You can't just keep, you could send mailers all day to clients you've already closed. Thank you for your service. But you can't rely on that.
Audience here. I'm looking at you guys, right? When I turn to look at him, then he looks at the camera. He goes, so we're just getting our directions here. But go ahead and repeat that answer though. But it's all about being consistent and disciplined. You do anything, any activity consistently enough, you're bound to get those results, right? It's the inconsistency that I think a lot of people struggle with. All right. Well, I know if you're making calls, are you making are you using a CRM? Are you keeping notes and track of people? And how do you follow up with people? that you've spoken to?
Well, for the longest time, up until very recently, I've been kind of quote unquote winging it. My CRM has been this
Notepad,
this yellow
old school.
notepad.
Yeah.
This yellow notepad. I'm a big pen and pad kind of guy. But recently, I've started doing more of the CRM, the market leader, things of that nature, and having that do the work for you.
Yeah.
Because it saves you a lot of time when you're using market leader or
Yeah.
any of these other CRMs that are available.
Yeah.
It saves you a lot of time.
How about, in order to make these calls, 50 calls a day, you have to be doing some kind of branding or marketing to generate leads. What lead generation pillars are you using? I know one night I saw you at the office, you were working on your Canva, things like that. Social media, elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, recently I've been having a lot of success or having a lot of feedback from things I post on social media.
Yep.
I just started on the Instagram and the TikTok.
Yeah.
And
The Instagram.
The Instagram.
You sound like me, an older person.
Instagram
I'm on
and
the
TikTok.
Facebook, the Instagram.
And I was telling Melanie Cross, one of the other Miranda agents the other day, is I posted a video of a simple tour of a house.
Yeah.
It's got over 17,000 views, and I can't count the amount of calls I've gotten from that video.
Really?
Of folks looking for a house. Maybe they don't like the area because I mentioned the address.
Yeah.
They're not a fan of the area, but hey, we're still
Break it
looking.
down. Describe that video, for example. Like, where'd you get the idea, and kind of like what's the premise of the video that's standing out?
So the video was simple. I just said, this is a beautiful house.
Yeah.
It was something that one of our other agents, Janelle, they kind of renovated this beautiful home. And I said, this house is gorgeous. I just flipped the camera around, walked them through exactly the same way I walked through the house for the first time I saw it, and let the house do the work for me.
Yeah. How long a video do you think it was?
It was under 2 minutes.
Yeah. So less is more. So that's good. Just appropriate amount of time to get people's attention. But listen, it all works. But a lot of people, it starts with, having the ability like you did just to turn the camera on. A lot of people have that, not only just call reluctance, but video reluctance too. They're afraid of video. They're afraid to put themselves out there, especially new realtors too. So I definitely think and can see how that makes a difference. What else do you recommend for someone new that's starting new into the business as far as generating leads goes? We always tell people to start with, we call it Project 100. Who do you know, right? Start to build a list of relationships that you have and let people know the goal is that when they think of real estate, they think of you. So how do you try to get that across to your sphere?
Well, I think first and foremost, like when I joined Miranda, I just got licensed. I knew nothing.
Yeah.
So I guess I took it from the aspect of I'll get as many leads as possible and that I have all of you guys behind me.
Yeah.
So anything that I need to figure out after that, I'll call Brian, I'll call somebody.
Yeah.
I just need to get in the door with somebody. So sometimes it's not exactly like what you know, but more of who you know. Is a very popular. Yeah, and I know I have a strong team behind me. So anything, I'll get the leads. I'll throw it to you guys. Get some help from it.
Now, I know the answer just kind of stumbled on, what tools do you use for follow up effectively? Examples, I know you have your notepad, scratch system too. But is there any other tools that you're using? Are you setting any reminders? You're using calendars on your phone?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Right. So I'm setting multiple alarms on my phone and calendars, calendar reminders.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing is in the morning, I get to the office pretty early and I write out a list for the day. I have to accomplish these 10 things, non-negotiable. That could be 50 calls, getting mailers out, sending out CRMs or whatever, or RPRs, whatever it is. But making a list doesn't have to be super long, 10 items, breaking it down and getting those done the first thing of the day. Yeah.
So you're coming to the office prepared to work, organized, and going after some tasks versus just waiting to see what falls in your lap. Which I think that's what happens with a lot of newer agents is they kind of they're reactive versus proactive, right?
Yeah.
They wait for things to happen or fall in their lap or hope that things fall in their lap. And then they don't understand why they're not busy versus you're going after it proactively. You're making a list, you're making the calls and you're checking off things that have to happen in order to push you towards your goals, right?
Yeah. Because when you start, I mean, again, it's always out there. You're your own boss, you're this, you're that. But you have to there's no business unless you go out and get it. So we're in the lead generation business, as everyone's always saying. That is number one, A1, number one. Nothing else matters. It's not what you know, it's who you know. and everything else you'll
Yeah.
figure out.
Yeah, we always say that you have to learn how to generate leads, because without the ability to generate leads, to your
Yeah.
point, nothing else matters.
Mhm.
So in a sense, a lot of you guys will think that you're in the real estate business, when in reality, this was told to me when I first started out, and I share it with all of our agents here in training, is that you have to think of yourself in the lead generation business and try to perfect a good part of your business is, how do I generate leads? Where do I generate leads from? Because without leads, nothing else matters, right? You could have the best listing presentation, buyer presentation, you could have a great website and tools, but if they're not working to generate leads,
Mhm.
they're not going to get used,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So that's a great point that you bring. And, I think that kind of ties into the next question here. If you can give a piece of advice to a new agent starting out, what would it be, now knowing what you know?
I would say is to start going after the leads first.
Right.
I mean, when I started, we had the onboarding checklist,
Yeah.
and on that checklist, one of the numbers was to call a certain person that would help us to maybe bring leads into ourselves.
Right.
But I was terrified of that, because what if they ask? What if I call someone? What if they don't?
Right.
What if I don't know the answer to this question? What if I don't? And what I found is that if you just go after, even if you're unsure,
Mhm.
the clients that you're bringing in, they're just as unsure.
Right.
But the only difference is we have an entire team behind us.
Right.
We have every application, every program available to us. So we
Yeah.
have the ability to find the answers.
Yeah, so seek out the questions first,
Yeah.
what they might have,
Mhm.
and then use your resources to supply
Gotcha.
a solution or
Yep,
answer to
sure.
their problem, right?
Mhm.
I call that pain and solution, right? We got to find out what their pain is first. And the only
Mhm.
way you can do that is by engaging in the call and listening. But I would definitely say, and I could swear on this call, because a lot of agents become bullshitters, right? You don't
Mhm.
want to bullshit someone. You
Right.
want to be
Mhm.
honest if you don't know the answer. So you know what? That's a great question.
Mhm.
I have a team of people. I
Yeah,
have people
that's
I can
true.
look into. Let me get the answer and get
Mhm.
back to you, versus trying to tell them something
Yeah.
that may be inaccurate, right?
Yeah, and especially now, because it takes 2 seconds, like we were talking about ChatGPT
Yeah.
throughout our entire,
Oh my God,
it
yeah,
takes
it's
2 seconds for them
Yeah.
to speak into this phone, and they'll get every answer you wish you knew.
Right.
So
Right.
BSing people is not the way to go. But
Yeah.
always say, you'll get back, you'll follow up,
Yeah.
and figure out the answer yourself. And
Yeah.
when you don't know something, it builds that level of trust when you go back and say, okay, all right, I'll figure this out, and then it shows the process.
Yeah, you bring up a great point, bringing AI, we're going to talk about that as well too. You guys have, I was saying how I was jealous that when I went to college, when I went to school, right, we didn't even have the internet. We had to go to the libraries and look up information and, go to, this card system and talk to the librarian, encyclopedias. And then the college kids got the internet, and now it's even easier. They have AI.
Yeah.
Well, so do realtors. You guys have a resource right in the palm of your hand. You got to proofread it. It's,
Yeah,
it's
100%.
garbage in, garbage out.
Mhm.
If you don't give it the right information, you're probably not going to get a good response
That's
from
true.
it. But if you prime it, we call it priming it, right? Give it more information. The more information
Mhm.
you get, it's intuitive. It
Right.
learns. It will give a good response that you can share back. And now your clients don't necessarily have to know that you're getting it from
Right.
AI
Mhm.
or ChatGPT,
Mhm.
right? But that's a source. I would definitely, check that source against other people and individuals that you have access to with information. You guys do a good job when you're uncertain of something. You always check in with us, and we'll say, "Yep, that's about right," or we'll give you some input on it, or no, stay away from that. That's not the right way to go through it. But I think the AI is, I lean on it. I use it a lot too. There's stuff that even 20 years plus in the business, I get stumped on, and that's one of the first sources. I have resources just like you guys do, right? I can go to other brokers, other members, board members, and people in the business, but I could also go to my phone and use it as a resource too. So it all works. You just have to know where to go. And I think going back to what started this question is not having the fear to begin with, right? That you can't answer someone's question.
Right.
All right. So don't be afraid if you don't have the answers to engage in a conversation, because as long as you can go and get the answers or come back and say, hey, great question. Let me see what I could find out. You could always come back and say, here's what I found out, right? May or may not answer your question, but at least you've attempted and you have access to information that they don't.
True.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And consumers right now, that's a big challenge right now, is consumers do have access to a lot more data than they did in the past. But we can't let that discourage us. We can also talk to people and get people's opinions that they can't.
Right. And even though, no matter what kind of resources customers are able to get in front of them,
Yeah.
buying a home is a terrifying task for a lot of people, a lot of folks.
Yeah.
So a lot of these people that call, and they're just looking for someone to kind of take the lead on it.
Right.
They don't know where to go.
Right.
And even if you don't know where to go, if you take the lead and you make it your goal to find out these answers and get them to the destination, that's all they're looking for.
Yeah, like a personal guide.
Exactly.
You know, Willie talks about this years ago in the insurance industry. You know, he's an insurance agent. Some of you guys don't know that. He has an insurance office, and people started to panic when this little Geico character lizard came out, because, you know, he said, you know, we get your insurance quote in 15 minutes and everything was online. And they're like, oh my God, everyone can just go online and get cheap insurance. They're not going to use agents, and all these agencies are going to go out of business. But it was the point you just hit on. It was the personal touch that they missed. They like being able to go have someone guide them, have someone available to them to answer their questions while they went down this journey, right? And the realtor and real estate agent is no different.
That's true.
Right? People can get information on Zillow, they can go online, they can go on all these different websites, but they still need the realtor to not only just unlock the door, but to have that being able to consult them and guide them through the process. And if you're holding a real estate license, you already have an advantage over most people.
That's true.
Because you know more about the business that they don't know. So even if you don't have all the answers, but you hold and possess a real estate license, you're at an advantage. You can always find the answers.
Right.
But they will, even if you lack the experience, they will, you will have more experience than the average person.
That's true.
And they will look for that in someone to guide
you. Yeah, they'll put that trust in you. And
right.
I don't know.
You know, that's what we say. People always do business they know, like, and trust, right? So if you can, you know, handle they know you and they like you and hopefully they trust you. Don't worry if you don't have all the answers. No one expects you to have all the answers, right? If I go to see a professional accountant or a doctor and they give me a little bit of advice and they don't have the answers I'm looking for, I don't say, I'm never going back to that guy again, right? Sometimes you just don't have the answers, but I know they have resources where they can go and seek information and update and guide me more than I can, right?
And I'm laughing because there's been a few times I've had to name drop a few times where I've had some clients that they know who runs, they know the Christine Serafini's, Janelle Gamani. So I said, oh yeah, I'll ask Christine. Oh, let me check in with Christine. Let me check in with Janelle. It doesn't hurt to name drop a little bit, especially people that's on your team. And again, it just builds that trust factor.
But that, you know, you're being honest here. That's why we're doing a podcast, especially for newer agents, is you want to use your team, and your team, you know, in our company, we run it like a team, but your team could be your attorney that you use a lot, a lender that you use a lot, right? A home inspector that you use a lot. A lot of these guys, if I run in, if I'm showing a property and I see something that doesn't look right, I could always take a picture of it and send it to a home inspector friend of mine and say, hey, what are your thoughts on this?
Right.
I don't have to wait to hire them for you know, a home inspection. You think they're going to ignore me and say, nope, I only, you know, respond on home inspection? They want to do business with you, partner up with you. A lot of them will take the time to help you
100%.
answer your client's questions, right? So don't be afraid to use your team or name drop or leverage other people that can help you get answers to your client. Go ahead. You got something else funny?
No,
I can see the wheels spinning already.
I don't want to give away that next one.
All right. So let's see. If you could do one piece, we already talked about that. What do you wish to do in your first 6 months that you know now? What do you wish you knew in your first 6 months that you know now?
It goes back to that same thing. It's going out and trying first. Is getting the no's first, or just getting the questions first, instead of just sitting back and trying to learn everything, because it's not possible.
Right.
This is a very hands-on business.
Right.
You have to go through the processes. You have to get the no's. You have to get the failures in order to move forward. And I think that's something I tell to myself.
I could teach you how to sell real estate, or I could push you in the water. I could teach you how to swim, tell you how to swim, right? Or I could just push you in the water, and you have to figure it out as well too. Now, I don't know if I jump in the water all by yourself, right? You should have someone always there. But to your point is, you don't want to spend all your time getting ready to get ready to get ready.
That's true.
Right. You don't want to just jump into it either with no experience. You definitely want to be guided somewhat, but don't let that slow you down from engaging. So what is your goal over the next 5 years in real estate? Now that you're in this business and got a little over a year under your belt, are they the same or have they changed?
Couple million and retire. That's my goal.
Couple-
But it's I think my goal is to become someone that is not just considered an expert in the field, but considered trusted in the field, which I believe is a far more important word.
Yeah.
Is someone that is trusted in the field of real estate. They trust you to buy, they trust you to sell, they trust you to be honest. I think that's my ultimate goal. When I started out in real estate, my goal was to help as many people as possible
Yeah.
achieve their American dream of home ownership. And that's something it's very important to me. And I'm very passionate towards that. Yeah.
Definitely. I used to have an ad. I haven't run it in a long time since the American Dream sold here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys could use that. I haven't used it in a long time, but let me see if we have some questions along the way here. Let's see. San Serafini's got her hand raised. Let's see. What exactly do you say when you're on a call, and how long does it take? So give an example. Let's do a little role play.
Okay, gotcha.
You're calling around. What is it that you're saying?
So if I'm calling around, the first thing first, I never sell the real estate first.
Yeah.
I always introduce myself as someone as the investor first.
Yeah.
And that's just me personally.
Right. So let's do full disclosure here. Let's get into that conversation first, and then we'll role play
Gotcha.
to answer your question here. Ryan also does you have a separate, I would say LLC, really, business
yes.
where you go and you buy and flip properties as
Right.
well too.
Mhm.
So those opportunities, you're really looking as a buyer first, and if you can't buy the property, then you're looking to
Then
potentially work with them on the
Right.
real estate side. So it's
Mhm.
kind of a twofold, a little bit different than the average agent. Let's flip the script a little bit. If you were an average agent, in other words, you're not buying as an investor. If you're an average agent and you're contacting someone that you may want to work with you, that was referred to you, let's just say a referral. Someone gives you a name. Hey, Ryan, this person might be looking to buy or sell. Let's go through a role play on a call like that. What does that sound like to you?
Gotcha. Well, first to start off, it's a pleasure to speak to you. My name is Ryan Gocool. I'm a licensed agent from Miranda Real Estate. I got your number from Willie.
Yeah.
Willie speaks very highly of you, saying you've been in the gym, you've been hitting the gym. I'm sure you're looking.
I can tell. I'm scared with the.
And that he's mentioned that you've had some questions regarding real estate. I don't know. Do you own your home currently?
Yeah. So
Yeah, I just want to get everything else I can do, but I just wanted to get them to mention the real estate first. That's my goal.
Yeah.
A lot of times I just mess up that I never ask about the real estate first.
Yeah.
I kind of let them bring that up, especially if it's by referral.
So you try to establish a rapport first.
Right,
And
yeah,
that'll come
yeah.
up, let that come up naturally
Exactly.
versus. And I think, again, it's hard because we're stopping and training, role playing, it's different.
Mhm.
I think the point you're trying to say here is you want the conversation to be natural. You don't want it to be scripted.
Right.
Right. And we always say those calls should involve trying to listen and hear what their pain is, and then be able to offer the solution in your response.
Yeah, and maybe my approach is a little bit different because I more of the investor side,
Right.
and because I've seen the other side of people getting into investments and getting killed.
Right.
I try to just let someone know, I'm part of a team.
Yeah.
You can trust me. I'm not in sales. When I make these calls, I don't consider myself in sales.
Right.
I'm just in the rapport building.
Rapport building.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see. Do you ever do door knocking to get leads, or really just is the phone the best? Like, where are you getting these 50 numbers that day to call?
So I use a program that I get my numbers from, but for the door knocking, if I do that too. And you will get the same kind of reactions as you do on the phone. I remember recently I was walking down a street not far from the Rotterdam office, and I'm just meeting people on their doorstep, shaking their hand, giving them some flyers, and then I'm walking down, and I see a gentleman. He started off on me from like a mile away. I'm like, hey, so you just all right, sir. You have a great one, and you keep moving. But it's just as rough. It's the information is always out there.
Yeah.
You pick a neighborhood, lock in, and just make yourself known around there.
Yeah, I will say this, full disclosure for you guys on the call here. In New York State, we still have the do not call list. So you use a program I think those programs are known to scrub the list to make sure
Right,
it's not
yeah.
on a do not call list. So we don't advocate calling off the do
Right.
not call list.
Right.
Use lead generation program. There's a lot of them out there that you can look up. I'm not going to advertise any of them here, but they'll trust me. If you're a realtor, you're going to be getting an inbox. You're going to be getting emails from people. You have other lists because you are an investor too, that you can get a hold of people. But the whole point is not to have that call reluctance, regardless of where you're getting those numbers from, and make those calls here, right? So which program do you use? Do you use the prospecting numbers from? Could you make any program recommendations? Let's see. I definitely think that a lot of agents that are buying leads, right? I always say the best leads too is, I don't like to go down that whole, hey, call Zillow, call what's the other, RedX was one. A lot of those, you think about the RedX leads, those are expired leads. And we're in a market right now in the Capital District that is a seller's market.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of expireds, right? So I don't know how effective it would be to buy those leads right now. That's why I don't get into a lot of those different programs, but they are out there. There's a lot of referral sources. But I think the best leads to call are working your database. Start with that list of relationships. Who do you know? We cover it in another training. Like, these are people that you interact with every day. Even if you're going to your favorite takeout restaurant, you let them know that you're a realtor. You leave your cart there. I've used stories about when I go to get my car service. The service people, they all know that I'm in real estate and vice versa. So I try to collect their information so that I can build my database. And I'm calling. You might not have 50 people to call a day. Ryan's been at it for a while, but you got 5.
Yeah.
You got at least 5 people that you know. And even if you started, and this is what we do all the time, if you start with 5 a day and you only called 5 days a week, that's 25. That's 100 in a month. That's 1,200 in a year. Somebody's going to buy, right? It's a numbers game if you're doing it consistently, like we just managed and talked about. So it's great questions right there. All right, so those are the questions that we have so far. I think if I was to go back and look at our syllabus that we've covered year to date, just touch on some of these topics with you, right? Just high level marketing and advertising techniques. You already talked about Canva. What else do you use? I know you use social media. What's your learning curve on Canva? Are you an expert or a novice or pro or what? Because I know you've done some stuff. Like, how did you start off with it, and what do you utilize it for?
I've almost broke my laptop a couple times. It's a frustrating thing. I thank God for Lily. So anything I need help with, I just send it to her. Hey, could you finish this? Do you know about this? But Canva, I use a lot for mailers, for postcards, and different social media posts, just to kind of make them pop a little bit. Yeah.
All right, good. So lead generation, we hit that up pretty good. You said mailers and postcards. Do you do geographic farming?
Yes.
Do you go after a particular neighborhood?
Yes.
Give me an example. Like, what type of stuff would you mail out and how often?
So right now, I send out about 30 mailers a week.
Yeah.
But it's very specific neighborhoods. It's very specific houses. And I approach it from more on the investor side, but also with the option. It's one guy, 2 options. It's kind of the tagline on there.
I like that.
It's a one guy, 2 options. And I just kind of, again, I don't sell with the mailers. I just kind of provide market stats, just provide the information that they may not know. And
try to get them to raise their hand.
Exactly. And I saw a video recently of one of the Miranda agents, Janelle. She posted just yesterday after the event about there's a lot of renters out there that don't know the process. They're just unaware. They don't know they can qualify for home, even though that's their end goal. And a lot of times they're a lot closer to that goal than they realize. And it was a beautiful video by her, but it's a very, very true thing.
Yeah, people make assumptions,
right?
And they tend to go, and maybe they were told a while ago when the rates were a lot higher that they don't qualify. Now rates have dropped a little bit. So even a little bit of movement in the rates could make the difference between someone being qualified or not, but they don't know that unless you reach
unless
out.
you put the information in front of them.
Put the information around. Now, this is a big topic. We went over building investment portfolios and talking about, understanding things like the Burr method. I know we were at an event yesterday where there was a panel that spoke about it. Maybe elaborate a little bit about, your investment hat, your investment business, and more so how a new realtor can get involved in working with investors.
So when you hear,
let me add to that question. I know you and your family do investments, but do you ever work with other investors?
Yes.
So let's talk about that.
Well, the number one thing when you hear the word investor, to me, there's someone looking for a deal.
Yep.
And those deals are out there.
Yeah.
And it's especially for like our agency, we
Yeah.
have a lot of the agent to agent connections through our app.
Right.
And we have the access to properties that are, they haven't hit the market yet.
Right.
And a lot of times sellers, and I've been through this very recently, one of a Miranda agent had a seller who was very much against going on the market.
Yeah.
For, very,
Yeah. They
for
didn't want
personal
it out
reasons.
there. Yeah.
They didn't want it out there. And so the only real choice they had is either they could go door knocking or
Right.
they can get their agent to shoot it out to
Internal, yeah. Network. Yeah.
however hundred many agents we have. And
Yeah.
yeah. So there's always opportunities there.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Burr, do you have a quick description of what the Burr method is? We talked about that as well earlier in the year.
Well, the Burr method is.
It was, here we go. It's, where now? It was buy, rehab,
Yeah.
rent.
So the way I do it,
How do you do it?
I buy, renovate, rent, roll over, repeat. That's the way I can do Burr. I hate selling rental properties. I believe that ever since I was small, I hated the idea of buying, especially a multifamily unit, and
Yeah.
getting rid of it.
Yeah.
I love holding it, and that's something I got from my father.
Yeah.
He would never sell anything. It doesn't matter. This guy's not letting go of anything.
Yeah.
And that's actually funny. So that's actually how we met Christine. Because one day he decided a few years ago, one day he decided, you know what, these particular properties, we should get this money out of here. We'll move it somewhere else. And
Yeah.
and we called Christine. That's how we.
She's called-
That's our introduction to Christine.
and that kind of
No, thank God he didn't sold. Like, that was pre-COVID.
That
So
kind of got you
things
going.
sell well, but yeah, that's our introduction to Christine.
All right, this next topic we talked a little bit about, and we technology, right? Obviously, AI has come a
Yeah.
long way. You talked about social media that you use,
Mhm.
right? What are some of the other than getting answers that you don't have, what are some of the other uses that you've explored with AI or technology?
So it's just letters,
Yeah.
letters to sellers. Sometimes it's a lot of my mailers are just 100% ChatGPT, not 100%, but let's say 90% ChatGPT. So you go in there. Some of the letters I send out. It just, I want to say these words. I just don't know all of these words.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Help
so
put it in
put my
a
thoughts
word.
into words,
Right.
and that's the number one use for it.
Great. How about working with sellers, seller prospecting, going after listings? Do you use listing presentation? I know you had told a story about how you showed up on an appointment with a seller and they used AI against you. They already had your whole background and your questions ready for you.
Yep.
Right? But how do you approach sellers?
So I approach sellers from a buyer's perspective and try to make their house as appealing as possible. Try to make the process as appealing as possible, because I believe, like, if you go to a seller and you make them think that they're buying their own house, it makes the process 10 times easier.
So you put
Because
them in the
it
buyer's
takes the
shoes.
walls down.
Right.
Yeah, it takes the walls down. Then it's like, okay, maybe this, maybe compared to the other prices, maybe we are a little higher.
Okay,
Maybe
give an example. What are some of the things that you point out to the seller and puts them in a different perspective?
The number one recently, it's been houses down the street that have been listed and sitting.
Yeah.
And I think, especially now with the season changes, some things are sitting a little bit more.
Yeah.
And just comparing it to those, it's a real eye opener, especially
Right.
price wise. And these are things that I think work the best.
Awesome. I know in recent calls, we talked about working with the buyers, and we talked about even working with sellers, using like checklists. Do you use any checklists to help you stay organized? I know you have, your daily checklist,
Right.
but when you're working with a buyer or a seller, do you have like that plan that you go into an appointment with or a transaction with?
Yeah, so it's our a Miranda buyer seller checklist.
Yeah.
I always print that out. I kind of contour it differently depending on, the personalities, but it's the same steps, no matter what.
Yeah.
So maybe you word it a little differently, you present it a little differently, but those seller and buyer checklists it really gives a roadmap, and it takes out a lot of the confusion, a lot of the questioning that a potential client may have. Yeah.
Helps you be consistent and not drop the ball on
Right.
these things, right?
Exactly.
All right, good. Let's see, what else? We're going to be talking about client management relationships. Have you done any deals yet? I know you're new. Have you come across any deals where a customer has given you a referral or has done repeat business with you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So there was a family whose son did business with me. Then they referred me to the daughter.
Mhm.
Then the daughter referred to her family. So it was a link of like 4 referrals, which is which I think is it's the most rewarding out of any, regardless of the cost of the home, regardless of any of that.
Right.
It's the fact that they trust you enough to give your information or hand you off to one of their loved ones. It's a very rewarding thing.
Yeah, I call that a commission tree when
Right.
one referral leads to multiple deals.
Right.
You can trace it back to not even one referral,
Mhm.
one source of business,
Right.
right, that you follow up on.
Mhm.
You can't take it just for granted. It could lead to hundreds of thousands of dollars of commission over a lifetime.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, so that's important too, to maintain those relationships, and that it doesn't just stop at the closing, right?
Right.
You stay in touch with them and hopefully generate that repeat referral business.
Mhm.
All right, good. So I'm going to see if we have any more questions here. And we're going to be wrapping this up. We're not going to go the full hour today on this, as the whole point of this was to bring Ryan on here to share some of his successes and a little bit about him as far as, what he's doing that a lot of new agents just don't have the success, because there's key things that he's been doing that we've been observing that we thought it'd be good to come on here and talk about. And it's a lot of different obstacles. And we heard this yesterday in the training that we were at yesterday about being able and having the ability to persevere past something. Is there anything that's happened, I guess, to you so far that you're like, made you just, I don't know if this is the right business for me, like make you second thought, like, man, if this is the way it's going to be, I don't think I'm cut out for this.
Yeah, it's tough a lot of times. It happened a few times where you would go into a listing appointment and you knocked it out of the park, or at least you felt that.
Yeah.
You've hit it. You checked every box, and then you turn around and you see that the home is listed with some top 10 agent of the entire capital region.
Right.
It kind of like, is there really a point to this?
Yeah.
If they're just going to go, but again,
you lead to another question, and part of your answer there is, how do you compete with the seasoned agents if you're going on an appointment, right? What is it that you use to set yourself apart when they ask you, what makes you different? And I know this, that you recently just won a listing. You went up against an experienced person, that ChatGPT one I was talking about. Maybe elaborate on that.
Yeah, so the seller of the home, before they brought me in, they asked ChatGPT, hey, how does Ryan Gocool as an agent compare to the top realtors in the capital region? And they brought in a certain name, and this person, as part of a team, he's one of the best. Everyone knows him. He's a very well-known guy. So I'll be honest, he asked me, so Ryan, like, why would we choose you over this? I says, if this is what you want, I said, call him. I says, call him.
Yeah.
I said, give him a call. And thank God they called and he didn't answer.
Yeah.
And they called, he didn't answer, and then I got the listing. But it was a gamble.
If he answered, you would have been like,
yeah. And so and sometimes it's good to make jokes with them and stuff. Like I started calling him instead of by his name. Let's say his name was Willie. Instead of calling Willie, I started calling him, hey, client 4215. Because this guy is 100. Hey, client 4215. We'll put your property 812.
Yeah.
We'll put it in the schedule. So a lot of it's building, again, that personal rapport, and you want people, you have to build that trust with folks. And with a lot of seasoned agents.
Let's answer for the audience. So you ended up getting the listing.
Yes.
But what was the reason why they went with you over someone else that came in with more experience?
Because I think I was there. I showed that, okay, I have the team behind me. I have the information, and they just learned to trust me throughout the.
So it was no like and trust, and you let them know that even though you might be newer to the business, you're back with the experience of the team, right? So I'm putting in your word. Now I'm acting like your AI, putting the words in your mouth.
They don't know it's new, but
I know this because we've had conversations about this, and it's something that I've always preached from day one. You know that, right?
Right.
It's like you never want to tell people as a new agent, you never want to tell people that you're part-time or you do it on the side. Right? It's a full-time.
Right.
And for you, it has become full-time effort, but your hours don't define you. Right. And you know what? what? That's a great question. How many houses have you sold? You're not hiring me. Leverage your team. I think so many people, a mistake they make, it's like you're hiring me, and they don't talk about all the people they work with. When I say the team, I'm not just talking about the staff that we have here, but who is your lender? Who is your attorney? Who's your home inspector? If you don't have one, you should get one and form your own team so that you can leverage that team success, not just your personal inexperience.
Right.
And that could help you
compete. It helps big time. So just yesterday, we were able with a buyer that's been looking for a little while with other agents, and then I met with the other agent, and they decided that it wasn't fit, and they began working with me. And in a day, there was a house that hit the market. We were the first ones to see it. We got an offer in. And right away, I consulted my team, the attorney, the realtors that we use, the lenders that we use. I got all of them in contact with the listing agent, and again, they built a rapport there, and we're under contract 2 minutes later.
Right, so you demonstrated that you were capable of getting them what they needed. So it all works if you work it. You know, that's why we do these things. And you know, Ryan here is a testimonial. Sometimes when you hear it and see it in training, like that's you know, good for experienced people, you know, but I'm new, and people use it as a crutch. And you're an example. Here it is. You're doing numbers that people that have been in the business for years are accomplishing, right, or hope to accomplish.
Right. And a lot of it comes from, you remember at the beginning of the year, we did our kickoff, and we had our panel. So two of the people is Christine Janelle and a few other agents from different brokerages. And when they were going around asking these folks different questions, you would find whether it was Christine or Janelle, someone from Coldwell Banker, someone from this place, that place, they all had the same responses to the questions. They all had this the same sort of system in place. They all did the same sort of activity. So it, no matter how long you've been in the business, or no matter you know, how successful you've been, if you follow these steps, again, it's been the same steps that all these top agents have done. Right. You're going to get, you're going to get the, you're going to get to it.
So I'll translate for Ryan. What Ryan's trying to say is, don't try to go in there and reinvent the wheel. There's people that are successful. They will show you a lot of YouTube videos, even if they're people not in our market. There's a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of coaches that'll say, these are the things that we've done that led to success. And I think you're right. A lot of new people come in, try to put their own spin on it, and like, oh, let me come up. I love when they're saying, I'm going to do a raffle, right? And all my people that give me referrals, I'm going to do a raffle. I'm like, it's the greatest idea. Like, if it was so great, everyone would be doing it. A lot of it's illegal. That's a lot of things that you learn, you know, as to why people aren't doing this. But just follow success. Success leaves clues. If you follow someone that's a successful realtor, watch what they're posting on social media. Watch what they're saying in their videos, right? Shadow people. Because I know you've done a significant amount of shadowing. You talk about that early on. I know you shadow some experienced agents.
Yeah. So in my first week, I know people like Christine were fed up with me because everywhere they went, whether it was open house, wherever, I was there with them. I was there. Hey, how you doing? I was there with them. And you learn a lot of just how to have conversations with maybe prospective buyers or just people coming to check out our open house. Again, it builds the rapport, builds the trust. So it never hurts to shadow some top agents.
Yeah, you kind of pay attention to the engagement, the questions that they're asking, and the responses they're giving, and you know, kind of all comes together.
Because a lot of those top agents have been in a while. They've cut through the fluff. They know they got to the meat, and it's great to see and to have that experience firsthand.
All right, I think we've went through some of the questions here that I've had. I see other people had their questions here. Maybe one more came in here. Okay, let's see. Thanks for taking the time to do this, Ryan. It was great meeting you at the other house. This is a Wesley guy. I appreciate the insight and look forward to continuing to work in the future. So good response there. Thank you, Wes. And yeah, so again, I just want to remind everybody, November 5th will be our next call, and it's going to be on Client for Life System. We're going to talk about having a close plan, what happens after the closing, so that you can keep that repeat referral client in front of you. And to remind everyone just to register again for our safety event, and we're looking forward to seeing you. Anything closing, Ryan? How can they get a hold of you?
Oh, listen, if you got a call, you just call out, I'll hear you. 518-512-1349. You can give me a call, text anytime, ryangocool.com, or you can find me on Facebook or TikTok, where a lot of folks have been reaching out. But I'd love to speak to anyone, whether you're an agent, buyer, seller, whatever. you just reach out and I'd love to speak.
And I will plug this for you too. If you guys come across a property off market that you're going to potentially list and it just looks like it's going to have a hard go of it, give Ryan a call as well too, because not only is he a fellow realtor, but he's also an investor, like we said. And I'm guessing you'll come and take a look at it and tell you kind of what you're looking at from a wholesale perspective.
Correct.
What an investor would buy, you might potentially buy it. You might be the buyer.
Right. Yeah. Right. And we've had a few of those with some great friends. We are an agent-friendly investor.
There we go. All right, just double checking here. All right, guys. So we will see you. Thanks for coming on the call, and thank you again, Ryan.
All right.
And we will talk to you guys soon. Let's go get them.